So here we are in the middle of the project, almost completed. I separated the magnesium cage from the plastic base, the Thinkpad base, and that wasn't so bad. It was just some screws. All of this is unscrewed, not a lot of little screws. As you see, I have my screws sorted out right there in my own special way. The trickiest part of this, funny enough for me, was come over here, actually removing the fan, the heatsink and fan. It was tricky pulling it out. I had to actually remove the lid before pulling the fan out. The Thinkpad Lenovo manual says you could remove the fan before removing the lid, but for some reason it was just super hard to pull out, and I didn't want to damage any of the components underneath the fan. It's very delicate components. You have the I think the video chip and the CPU down there, and when you put the fan back, just remember to have some paste, some heatsink paste. I have some right here I bought from Radio Shack a while ago. Actually no, I ordered this actually online. So I'm gonna apply some paste to the heatsink before putting it back on. The W500s are actually cool running computers, so I'm not even worried about any overheating. I don't play games or anything or watch heavy video graphics on my ThinkPad, so I don't expect, I'm not worried about that, but I'm still going to apply the heatsink paste. You see, I think that's CPU and one of these is the video graphics card. I'm not really sure. But all that's left to separate the motherboard from the cage is unscrewing some screws on the back there, and that separates the circuit board, motherboard, from the steel cage. And I have the replacement cage over here ready to go. As you can see here, as I showed, as I was talking about before, this actually broke clean off when I was pulling the fan out, and that's the part that was giving me issues with the hinge. It wasn't the hinge itself, it was just that part there, and it's really weak. Even in the replacement unit, it has some play in there. I could sense this is gonna break eventually. There's no solid fix for this. ThinkPad, IBM, Lenovo do not have a replacement cage that fixes this issue. So if you do have one of these and it's not an issue yet, it might be if you're not careful with opening and closing your ThinkPad. As you see here, oh, it's actually broken there as well. You see that? So my issue, the visible issue, the issue that I saw before deciding to replace the cage was this. It was actually just cracked there, and removing the cage, removing actually the heatsink fan, this broke off when I pulled the fan out. It was just very, it's almost really thin and frail, like a toothpick almost. It's literally like a toothpick. You could break that 1,000 ways. And now I'm noticing as I'm doing this video that this bottom bit here is damaged as well. I'll get the lid. It's over here on my pillow. Now the lid for this is the 15.6 inch lid. This lid is actually really heavy. It's actually maybe I think like 60-40 with the base, but it's a heavy ass lid. So like I'm just gonna demonstrate with the lid in like that. So basically when the lid is actually on the cage itself and you're opening and closing, it's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight. Like I think this is maybe 40 to 50%, under 50% of the whole weight of this 15.6 inch notebook. This is a lot of weight on that hinge. It's even kind of heavy for me to pick up with one hand. It's very heavy to pick up with one hand. But all that weight is on this hinge right here, and that's why the hinge, the cage breaks. It has nothing to do with dropping the ThinkPad or damaging it. I don't even think it's just from opening and closing the lid, and the weight of the lid just eventually is going to do that. So it has not been explained. That's why I'm doing this video. So had it been explained, I would not have been spending time shooting this video. But on this side, as you see there, it's a little bit more reinforced. You have like a wall there, and you have a lot of lot of surface area with the cage back here. So it's a little bit more reinforced on this side. So the right hinge never gives issues. It's always the left hinge. If it's not this thing that breaks, that thing that breaks, it could be back here that breaks. That's another thin, really thin structure, a thin bridge between the hinge and the rest of the base. And when you look at the lid cage, there's a identical sort of a twin magnesium shell within the LCD housing unit. You'll see the similar frailties in that shell. Had it been the shell that broke on my ThinkPad, I would have been replacing the shell case, maybe as well as this. Like if you have one of these, and you have the time replace it, it doesn't take that much. But replace this anyway. It's not like like I'm saying, the replacement unit is not designed. It's designed the same exact way. And I'm actually, in doing this, I'm sort of regretting I'm getting this, because I just realized that's probably gonna break within the first couple of months of using it. But I'll try to be as careful as possible. But that's the explanation of what is wrong with the left hinge on the W500. Applies to, I think, the T500 as well, and maybe some of the T and W400s. But that lid is really heavy, and all that weight of that lid on the left hinge is just putting a lot of force in that every time you use the ThinkPad. And it's not even from dropping. I don't believe it was ever dropped, my ThinkPad. It was never dropped actually, but it's just the force of the hinge, of the lid on the hinge, that eventually wears and breaks these I want to call them bridge links out. So and that's that. But I wish I could have had an option to buy like maybe a reinforced bridge unit here, a better reinforced magnesium cage. But that's all I could do for now, and it should fix the issue. I'm gonna shoot a third part of this video when I'm completed, if I'm ever completed, because it's 1,001 screws and all the screws are different lengths. So if you plan to do this project, just have really good organization skills. I've been taking pictures along the way, so sort of like leave a trail of breadcrumbs to lead me back if I get lost in putting the wiring or screws back in. But it's a lot of different screws, and literally every other screw is a different length. So you have to be careful, be aware of what you take out and what you put back in. So, and you also have these cards, the wireless cards and the modem cards and so forth, that you have to put back in exactly as you take them back out. And that's it. See you guys when I'm done. Bye. If I'm ever done.